Well, today's video is part 2 of the cricket ground, but before we do, I was going to run the Gronk around the layout. Ran into a little problem with that. We'll talk about that later. Let's go and get that cricket ground made. Well, this is a bit frustrating. This is the first time this particular locomotive has ever lost its coding. It usually shows up as a 08, of course, and it went back to 03, which is, of course, the default. Anyway, all fixed, and we're going to send it around the loop. All the points are in place. We'll just send it off. I don't think we've ever done this with this Loco before. Said we'd run a couple of trains, so let's do it. Now, the first thing to do is to get underneath here and draw around the hole, because the hole won't be perfectly circular. You can see the mark I've already made here. And then we'll take it upstairs and cut it. Alrighty then, a Gronk past the airport around the reversing loop. Right now, let's get this thing cut. You might not be able to hear me. If that's the case, you'll see my lips moving, and then I'll narrate it later. First thing I thought of, this was our mark, so we know the orientation. Well, since I'm cutting that off, I'm going to move it onto the top and make an arrow there. Always like to clamp things down. Make sure I'm not cutting the base. It just stops it tipping over the edge. That's good. Now a little test cut. Just make sure we're not ripping everything out. I'm upside down. Yep. The reason that's significant is that if it does rip out, it will be on the bottom. Just feeling to make sure we're going to clear. But now I can't see the circle. Lovely. Didn't think of that. Sandpaper will be our solution. Little test cut over here. No battery. Must be a good blade, it's not tearing. Alrighty, so now all I have to do is follow the line. About halfway. We'll do this in 3 chunks, apparently. last little bit. Sweating out here today. It was freezing cold a couple of days ago, and now warm. Good. That's done. Sandpaper, hose pipe, greatest invention ever. It's 100 grit, which is quite adequate for this. All that cold breeze. Now see, I insulated the roof of the garage. It keeps the heat in, but now I've got the door open. Alrighty. Snug that in there. Join this to the vacuum cleaner. Now you won't hear me. Plugging in the sander. There, no significant tear. It really doesn't look round. Doesn't have to look round, it just has to fit in the hole. So, there's my waste pieces. I've still got the road marked, the runway's marked. Where's my arrow? Ha! Should be over there somewhere. It's here. Pop those there for now. So the mark is right there. Not going to take it downstairs, we're going to make an assumption, always dangerous. Cut these in half. Now they'll fit into the rubbish. Good. One piece that will fall straight through the hole. Alrighty, so the next thing is to stop it falling through the hole. And you can never find what you know you have. Some screws and 4 pieces of wood. These are round head, not countersunk, intentionally. This is very thin wood, and the last thing I need is this splitting or pulling through. So what I'll do, let me make sure you can see that. Well, you can see that if I do it in the right place. We'll do it here. We just put these things overlapping the edge with a couple of screws in it and some glue underneath it. That will be relatively easy to disguise in the grand scheme of things. Now, because we're using glue and these are nicely shiny, we'll find a piece of sandpaper, and that's in the box under here. There's rummage. There's a piece of sandpaper, not very coarse grit. This will work better. 120 grit. And some clamps. So all we're doing is roughing up one side. Since I'm roughing it up, should probably go across the grain, shouldn't I? Mostly to take, there's a finish on it, Eddie. We don't want to lose screws in the garage, because when you do, they end up in the car tyres. 3. 4. Now a suitable drill. That looks like a suitable drill. Now these are going to go on the edges. So the holes want to go, these are all the same length, so the holes want to go, I'm sweating, I don't know why. Somewhere there, I would think. Would that work? Yeah, something like that. So we'll drill through all 4 of them at once. We can do that. One advantage of doing this, 1, it's only 1 shot, and 2, you don't get the breakout on the ones in between. 2 will do. I was looking for white glue, got a gallon of it, we're down to that much, so I've done a lot of ballasting. And I don't have a suitable pot, so we'll be brave, shall we? Just glue them on. Get the sandpaper out of the way, and it's the roughed up side I'm looking for. See the sawdust everywhere there? Come on. It'll all come out in a big glob, you watch. Just want a little bit on each one. Come on. Isn't it shake and shake and shake the bottle, none will come and then a lot will. Finger, there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all we need. Just a little bit of glue, not much. It's quite enough. I suppose I should have gloves on, and I suppose I should use a stick, but I didn't. 3. Come on, you can share. You've got quite enough on that one. Good. Pop the lid on. Go get the glue off my fingers. The lid is on the glue. There now. There's nothing on the board You'll be rubbing my fingers together and bits of glue coming off for the rest of the day now. We want to avoid the road and the runway. This is the front of the board, so we'll put one over here somewhere. Put another one opposite. Something like that. I was going to clamp them, but if we're screwing them immediately, I won't need to. This one can certainly go here. Trying to avoid the road, wasn't I? That'll be all right there. It'll be visible more than the others. Now then, let's pop a couple of screws in these. Now, because the grain of that wood, even though it is not much of it hanging over, is that way, I will have to remember not to lean on it. There will be a crack and the whole thing will go through. And there will be some stuff on it. It's not like there's nothing there. But it's not going to be in a place where you would typically lean on it. So that's a good thing. Do you know, I think I've stuck this one on upside down, but I'm not going to fret. It's screwed on. Yes, at this point I find it screwed to the workbench. No, joking. Didn't need those, put them away. Drill bit back in the drill bit box. Now then, where's my rag? The dust off it. Now we have to plan. Dun, 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 dun. Well, here we go. First fitting. I couldn't show you me dropping it in because I did it from underneath and used both hands. Needed one for the camera. There's our mark and there's the arrow. It's interesting that there's actually a step down, little step down. There's no real flex in the deck or the insert, but this step presumably is because these bolts, threaded bar and nuts all the way around, do you see them? That's supporting the track and the track underneath. So I'm assuming that that must either not be level or there's a warp in something somewhere. Not a problem, because we've got this one right beside where the road will be. And so there's a tiny step there, which means that this must be lifting up. I'm going to take it out again because I'm sure the glue hasn't set yet. But we do need to mark a few things out. This video too is getting rather long, so I will make a part 3 and we'll show the marking out and planning of where we're going to put things. Said we'd run a couple of trains, so let's do it. Oh, well, that's interesting. This is the first time the Gronk has ever run through the station. And we've had it ages. It hits the platform. Huh. And the platform's perfectly straight. This is interesting. I'm going to have to do something about that. Don't you love it? I don't. So what's peculiar about the Gronk then? Probably the side rods. Alrighty, well, we're going to bypass the station. So the Gronk is heading off around the reversing loop at the bottom there. It's just a very short section. And it'll be back. But not being able to go through the station, that's a problem. Who knew? It's never done that because it's only ever shunted, and there would be no reason for it to go through the station doing that. That's interesting. I wonder what it's fouling on. Probably the side rods. I tell you, every time you run the railway, there's, just when you think you're done, there's more work to do. It has been into the branch line platforms, but they're a little wider because of the curve. It'll be a little difficult shaving space off the front of that platform edge too, because it's card, and card does not sand well, and when you've only got a little bit to cut, that becomes problematic as well. You can see where it's hitting right here, look. Well, now we've got some work to do. Well, thanks for watching this far. Click the like and subscribe and all that good stuff, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.